How many times do we set goals to finish writing or editing a book, and then life happens and those goals just pass us by? It's not because we're lazy or undisciplined. 9 times out of 10, it's because we're setting goals that are stifling, unrealistic, or just too vague. So, what is the right way to set author goals so that we can actually meet them? Hey there, I'm Amanda. I'm an independently published author and a certified publishing coach. And today, I'm going to share with you the best way to set your author goals so they are both exciting and achievable, and you can stay motivated and get your work out there for the world to see. And if you're a new author hoping to publish that masterpiece yourself, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because this channel is all about helping new authors finish and properly publish their work in the most professional and cost-effective ways possible. First of all, let's talk about the problem with the typical goals we set as authors. Most of us set goals like, I want to write a book this year, or I want to get published and see my book on store shelves, or even, I want to be a New York Times best-selling author. These sound great, don't they? But these are actually dreams, not actionable goals. There's nothing wrong with having author dreams, but goals like this are too vague. They may feel exciting in the moment, but when you actually go to try to work on them, you find yourself feeling overwhelmed and unsure of how to move forward. This leads to procrastination, guilt, and frustration. But contrary to popular belief, the solution is not just to try harder. It's actually learning how to set goals that support your natural creative process. So instead of focusing our efforts on one giant aspirational goal, we want to set our author goals in 3 layers or stages. They are the vision, the milestone map, and the process. First, let's start with your vision. Your vision goal is your big why. Here, you set what your overall aspiration is. Some examples might be to publish your first book, to share your message with the world, or to create a new income stream. Then, you want to hone in on your deeper reason for wanting to achieve that goal. These reasons could include to establish credibility in your field, to begin a new career as an author, or to make enough income to cover a specific cost. Focus on why this goal is important to you specifically. Setting up your vision first creates an emotional connection to your goal that will help keep you motivated. Next are the milestones. We are going to create a roadmap towards achieving your goal by setting up milestones along the way depending on what stage you're in. If you haven't started writing anything yet, then your first milestone goal should be to finish your draft. Next would be completing revisions, then finding and hiring the right editors, and etc. Setting up these milestones ahead of time helps you break down the process so you can keep the overwhelm at bay. By the way, if you're planning to self-publish your book, make sure you check out my 50-point self-publishing checklist. It's completely free, and it will help you understand what milestones will be necessary throughout the publishing process. It's available in the link down below this video. Finally, you're going to set your process goals. This is where the progress really happens. Set daily and weekly actions that will help you reach each of the milestones you've already identified, and give yourself flexible time limits so you can check in on your progress regularly. Some examples of this might be, write 500 words a day and finish 3 chapters by the end of the month, or set aside 1 hour 3 times a week to just focus on your manuscript, or complete 1 action every day that promotes your publishing vision. An effective process will help you use the compound effect to make regular progress that you can see and measure. Now, before we move on, we need to talk about the importance of setting realistic goals as an author. Many of us creative types are big dreamers. We have so many amazing ideas, and we can easily fall into the trap of expecting more from ourselves and from the publishing world than is reasonably achievable. It's great to have big dreams that make you excited, but when we set goals this way, we often set ourselves up for overwhelm and disappointment. I'm not saying that you should shrink your goals to avoid disappointment. I am saying you should approach them intentionally. Most of the time, our unrealistic expectations stem from the lack of understanding around the time, energy, and resources it's going to require to reach our goals. Instead of just jumping in head first, we want to step back and ask ourselves honestly how much of our resources we are willing to put in on a regular basis. For instance, if you're new to the writing process, instead of telling yourself you're going to write 2,000 words a day, set a goal instead to work on your manuscript every day and find out how many words is actually comfortable for you. Then set your new goal accordingly. Instead of pushing yourself to finish all of your editing in a single month, research statistics on how long it typically takes to complete the entire editing process for a book that's the same length as yours. Then set a comfortable goal based on that information. And then give yourself a little room for error. Life is always going to step in and interrupt you, but when you plan for it, you don't have to let yourself get stuck. And finally, don't beat yourself up or get discouraged when you miss a goal. If you can't sit down and write every day, give yourself credit for the number of times you did sit down last week. And then try to add one more next week. Focus on consistency rather than perfection. Consistency makes things happen over time. Perfection only sets you up for failure because nobody gets it perfect the first time. And my final advice for setting your author goals is to decide on your publishing path in advance. There are vastly different steps and requirements for self-publishing versus traditional publishing. Self-publishing authors won't need to worry as much about creating proposals or querying agents, but they will need to understand the different expectations for producing a professional book. On the other hand, traditionally publishing authors won't need to spend as much time researching editors and other publishing professionals, but they will have to jump through some hoops to get picked up by a publishing company, and it will likely take longer. If you want more information about the biggest differences between self-publishing a book and traditionally publishing a book, make sure you check out my video on the different types of publishing paths. Remember, setting goals in your author career doesn't have to be stifling. In fact, doing it right can actually support your creative process and help you finish the work sooner. So if you're a new author getting started on your first book, here is the initial goal-setting framework I recommend. Step 1, choose a realistic weekly writing goal based on either time spent writing or word count, not both. Step 2, set a realistic milestone goal for finishing your first draft. And step 3, start researching the publishing process before your manuscript is even finished. That way you already know which publishing path is going to be right for you. One of the most important things I want all writers to take away from this video is that publishing a book is not something reserved for a small group of special individuals. Writing and publishing is a learnable process. Every book you've ever seen on a shelf was written by someone who started out at ground zero, just like you, and had to learn how to reach their end goals. Successful authors are rarely the ones who started out as the most talented. They are always the ones who stayed consistent and completed the process one step at a time. So keep going. And if you're new to the publishing journey, make sure you smash that subscribe button so you can get notifications every time I post new content about the publishing process. And if self-publishing interests you even a little bit, make sure you download my free self-publishing checklist available in the show notes down below. Remember, publishing a book doesn't just happen. It takes an intentional, strategic approach and consistent action to achieve one small goal at a time. Start planning your book journey now, and your future self will be glad you did.